Good. Welcome to the Eastern Conference Special podcast from us at PowerPlay904. I am Vinny alongside my best friends TC and TCJ. This is going to be a really quick podcast. What? I don't know what you're whispering at. Really quick podcast. We have about 30 minutes to go here. We're going to run through the East bracket and just this first round. We're going to start off with the Rangers Habs series, the Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens series tonight, starting at 7 o'clock on NBCSN. What do you guys think? What does Montreal need to do?
The key for Montreal is that I think
TC, your mic's on mute, buddy.
Yeah. Well, all right. So the key for Montreal is going to be to try to minimize the impact of the fact that the Rangers are a deeper team than the Canadiens, at least on the forward front. Up front, the Rangers just have a much better group of forwards. So the big thing is going to be using guys like Shea Weber to try to shut that down while still getting they're going to need quality performances from Carey Price.
TC, what do you have to say?
Well, I think the Rangers have struggled all year defensively. That's been one of their bigger weaknesses. And I think the Canadiens have the firepower to break down the Rangers defense. And I think we mentioned how powerful Johnny Gaudreau was last night. And I think you've got a similar situation with Radulov on the Canadiens. I think this is a Rangers defense that Radulov can probably do what he wants to score. And
see, I gotta disagree with you on that one, buddy. The Rangers, as a Ranger fan, the Rangers' biggest defensive problem is playing against a team that actually has a system. One player cannot beat the Rangers' defense. The Rangers' defense is very bad, but it is not. They are very good against one player. They just can't defend against rebound chances, and that's why the Rangers have struggled against Montreal this season, getting swept by them. But I don't think Radulov is that guy to tear apart the Rangers defense. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, you know more about the Rangers than I do.
Fair enough.
But I think, they don't have necessarily the depth, but I think, Max Pacioretty, Daniel, I probably butchered that last name, Mechanic, you factor in all these other guys. Radulov is probably the key guy that the Canadiens are going to have to rely on. And lately, they've relied on Arturi Lehkonen to get them. He's had 6 points in his last 4 regular season games, which is sizable. And for a third line forward, that's decent. That's going to be good enough. And I think the Canadiens have the goaltending edge with Carey Price over Lundqvist.
There goes the stats again. He's already outshining you on the stat chart, buddy. So who you got winning? What's going on? Who you got?
I got the Canadiens in 7.
Canadiens in 7. TC. Jay.
I've got the Canadiens in 6. I think that the Canadiens, I think they just have an edge in goaltending and coaching, and I just like the matchup a lot better for the Canadiens than I do the Rangers.
Boo! Rangers in 7, and like I said before, I really don't want to do that, and I didn't want to get my hopes up. Prior was
tell us why we're wrong.
Habs. Well, I'm telling you, the Rangers are going to figure out Carey Price. The Rangers are a better team on the road than they are at home, and Montreal has the home ice advantage.
But they're playing in Montreal is different from playing in other arenas.
Yeah, you're right.
That
You're
is
100% right. They have not played well in Montreal. They haven't played well when Montreal comes to town. That's why.
Carey Price had 12 wins in his last 12 against the Rangers or something ridiculous.
Yeah, his goals against average is about, I think it was like a .97 when I was looking at it last night against the Rangers this season. Um, but I think the Rangers are going to pull out. They're figure out Montreal. It's going to be a close series. Henrik Lundqvist is going to find himself again. He's going to carry the Rangers like he always does, and the Rangers are gonna figure out Carey Price and get bodies in front of the net. I don't think Montreal is strong enough to handle the Rangers offense. They have 4 solid lines. Although I heard they're starting Tanner Glass in the lineup, which I don't agree with. But I don't think that Montreal can match up offensively, and that's why the Rangers can win it in 6 or 7. Next up, do you guys have anything to say about that? No? Yeah.
I'm going to be curious to see this Markov and Shea Weber try to hold up the Rangers' top line and see how that works out. Or even their second line looks like Rick Nass, Jimmy Vesey, Zibanejad. That could be interesting.
And Zibanejad, not a lot of people know that or realize this, but Zibanejad, the Rangers did get in that deal with Derek Brassard, and Mika Zibanejad had just as many goals and points as Derek Brassard this season with half the amount of games. He was out hurt, and before he got out hurt, he was tearing it up. He was lighting up everything, and that's what's going to happen here. You're going to see a lot of Mika Zibanejad. That's the one player who's going to stand out the most in this game. Time crunch. Next game. Pittsburgh, Columbus. What's going on? That game starts tonight, 7 o'clock as well on the USA Network. TCJ, what does Pittsburgh need to do to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets?
I see 2 things for the Penguins here. It's going to take... Someone's going to have to find a way to make up for the absence of Chris Letang. Maybe it's not one particular person. Maybe it's a combination of Justin Schultz and someone else. But they got to make up for the absence of Chris Letang on the blue line. And I think that the other thing is if they can get a few past Bobrovsky, they're going to win the series. Their success in the series depends on their ability to score on Bobrovsky.
I agree with you on that part, but I don't think that having Chris Letang out is going to affect them as much because I think they're used to not having Chris Letang in the lineup. He's always in and out of the lineup. I think they've figured out a way to make up for the fact that he's not in the lineup. So you're wrong. You are wrong. But, so, CBJ, what does CBJ need to do to beat Pittsburgh?
Well, they're going to have to match the Penguins offensively. You know, the Penguins just have so much firepower that they're going to have to try to contain that, which I think they can with Zach Werenski and Seth Jones as their 2 top-line defensemen. Even Jack Johnson at the back could probably pitch in for that. And then Sergei Bobrovsky can definitely limit him. It's like if they're going to be successful, Sergei Bobrovsky is going to have to stand on his head, which he has done all season long. I don't think that's too much of a stretch to say he can put this team on his back.
I 100% agree with you on that point. Sergei Bobrovsky is going to be the guy that they're going to lean on, and he's going to steal the show. I think the series goes 7. I think it's going to be Pittsburgh in 7, just because of the fact that Pittsburgh's been there before. They have all that experience, and there's really no stopping Sidney Crosby. Like you said, Columbus has that goaltending of Sergei Bobrovsky, but their defense, I don't think their defense is deep enough to handle Crosby, Malkin, Kessel, Hornquist, Kunitz. When Hagelin comes back, I don't think that their defense can keep up with the speed and skill that Pittsburgh has. I hate to agree with TCJ about that nonsense, but he sucks. It's Pittsburgh in 7. What do you got, Connor?
I have the Blue Jackets in 7.
I like it.
I think it's going to be tough, but I think it's going to come down to like 1 or 2 goals pretty much every game.
I like it. And TCJ, what do you got? Who you got, Pittsburgh or Columbus?
Pittsburgh in 6.
Pittsburgh in 6, just short and sweet. Now, I know we're on a time crunch. I do want to just real quick ask one question. If whoever comes out of this series is going to be really sore because it's going to be a very physical series, what do you think? How do you think that's going to affect them going on to face a team like Washington, or maybe if Toronto can squeak by them.
Can you ask that again?
What do you think? How do you think that's going to affect whoever comes out of the series? How do you think the physicality from this series is going to affect them in the next series?
Well, I mean, with any playoff series, physicality is going to be a thing. Like, it's going to be present. Now, for the Caps, I don't see the Caps Maple Leafs as a physical matchup, at least compared to the Penguins and Blue Jackets. But, you know, I mean, at this point of the year, everyone's already banged up anyway. I think that, I mean, there's always going to be some wear and tear, but I don't think it's as big of an issue as people make it out to be.
So, you don't think that after this series, if this series goes 7, you don't think it's going to have that big of a effect on a team like the Penguins or the Blue Jackets?
If anything, I think it would affect the Blue Jackets more, just they've never been in a playoff run like this.
Yeah, I got to disagree with you.
I think it'll affect the Penguins more, just because the Penguins already are banged up, and then particularly their defense is injured. Or at least they have been for the last couple of weeks. So they might be, quote, healthy, but not really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we're seeing eye to eye tonight, Connor, you and I, about everything. I think it affects Pittsburgh more because of the fact that they're already banged up, they're already sore, they're already hurting. And I think if Columbus does make it past Pittsburgh, they're going to be riding too much adrenaline and too much momentum after upsetting what looks like a great Pittsburgh team. After upsetting them, they're going to be riding a hot goalie, a hot team, and it won't affect them as much as it would affect Pittsburgh. Now we're going to quickly move on to the Boston Bruins Ottawa Senators series real quick. TCJ, what do you think the Ottawa Senators need to do to defeat the Boston Bruins and pull off what most see as an upset, even though they are the number 2 team in the Atlantic?
So it's funny. I'm looking at an article here, and they're talking about how the fancy stats or analytics make these matchups out to be. And this model has the Bruins, that they are a 3 seed, at an 80% chance of winning. None of the other ones are that close. Or none of the other ones are that much of a runaway. And it's just because Ottawa is just not that good of a team when you look further. I mean, you look at their forwards, yeah, they got a couple guys that scare you. But really, that's about it. And you got Erik Karlsson on the blue line, but again, that's about it. It's going to take a big effort from Craig Anderson to beat the Bruins.
And don't forget, they added, even though they are an inexperienced team, don't forget they added an experienced player such as Alexander Burrows to the lineup, who has cup experience and playoff experience. But TC, what do you got? What does Boston need to do to move on to the second round?
Just keep playing the way they've been playing. Like the last couple of weeks, everybody has been scoring. You look at this roster, and there's not too many people that stand out, particularly from the rest, just because they are all firing on all cylinders. But I think if I had to pick some people out, Brad Marchand, how does he come back from suspension? He had probably his best season in his career this year, particularly down the stretch when Boston won probably 8 of the last 10, just a guess. You look at Backes, you mentioned, Pasternak has scored a lot lately. In fact, that top 6 is super impressive to me for their top line. And then, again, it's another with an incredible goalie. Tuukka Rask. If Tuukka Rask plays at his best, I don't see any way the Senators can score enough to get past Boston.
Yeah, I agree. I'm riding the Boston train.
And I didn't even mention, if they need to, they can go to Anton Khudobin, who has played phenomenally.
Wow, don't pull that out here, man.
Don't underestimate Khudobin.
Even if they need to, even if Boston gets lit up in the first game or the second game or both games of the first 3, Anton Khudobin does not come in. Tuukka Rask is just Tuukka Rask is their guy. There's no way good open season action, even if he's playing. I mean, obviously, if he's just like abysmal and he lets in 8 goals a game, then yeah. But I don't see any way that they take out to harass. I do think Boston wins this game in 5. I'll say 5. Boston's just too good. They're hot right now. I think Brad Marchand comes back better after the suspension. He's feeling it. He always comes back better to me after coming off suspensions because he's that kind of player. But I think Boston keeps riding and rolls over Ottawa. Ottawa's good. Maybe we'll see him next year, but I think Boston takes this one and rides Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids. Move on.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, yeah.
TCJ, Boston or Ottawa? How many?
Boston in 5.
Boston in 5, short and sweet. Any reasoning?
I mean, like I said, I mean, if you look at any sort of stat, I mean, the Senators are one of the worst teams in the playoffs.
Wow. You do realize that they have home ice and the Sharks don't, right?
Yeah, I do realize that, but that has one of those things has.
Wait, the Sharks don't have home ice against Edmonton?
No, they don't. But that has nothing to do with the Sharks here.
What do you mean that?
I mean, like that's about as irrelevant as me saying, "Hey, the Flyers aren't in the playoffs."
Ooh.
I'm not the one throwing shade at Ottawa. Ottawa is second in the division for a reason.
Yeah, because the rest of the division stinks.
The rest of the division stinks.
Well, at least like in the regular season, because for most of that regular season, the Bruins were just they weren't winning.
And it's a mediocre division just like the Pacific. Let's move on. We got one more game to cover real quick. It's 5:50. We got to get out of here. Yeah, it's 5:51. We got to get out of here real quick. Washington. This is the easiest one. I saved it for the last. Toronto, Washington. How many games is Washington? What? We all think Washington's going to win. There's no doubt. What does Toronto need to do to pull off an upset? Connor, go.
Does Toronto need to do to pull off an upset?
I know I didn't give Washington.
Frederick Anderson has to. Frederick Anderson has to step up his game. I know I bring up the goalies in every series, but they are vital. I think if you can ride a hot goaltender, do it. Pick out these key players for the Maple Leafs. You know, Mitch Marner and
Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews, yes.
That guy, Austin Matthews.
Use your speed and your youth to try to get past. I don't know. I mean, although.
It's a long shot. You don't see Toronto doing it. There's no way. There's no chance in hell. TCJ, what does Toronto need to do?
Toronto, I don't know, to be honest. For me, it's gonna have to be keep it close, keep it as close as possible, and weird things happen in playoff hockey. No one would have guessed in 2010 that Yaroslav Halak would almost single-handedly take out the Caps and the Penguins in back-to-back series.
So
sometimes weird things happen.
So you're saying that Toronto needs to ride luck through this, and hopefully it takes them all the way.
I guess.
So there's no.
Well, here's one thing that's not just luck, is that the Caps take a lot more penalties than they draw.
Ooh.
And if you can somehow, if the Maple Leafs can use their power play when they should keep the game close, and then in the situations where, hey, it's the third period, you're down by a goal or it's tied, and you get a power play, that's the kind of situation that they're going to need. If that happens, that's something they can exploit. But Washington's penalty kill is pretty good anyway, so I don't know.
That's true. I think Toronto will need to pull out all the stops and hold nothing back. I think they have the coaching to do it. Obviously, Babcock, he's been there before. He tells his players what it's like in these moments, and then they go on the ice and show that real speed and really take it to, because obviously, in my opinion, Toronto's the faster team. They're just so young. It's going to all rely on that goaltending. Frederick Anderson is soft, and I mean, Capitals' offense is hot. But I think if If Toronto can just overpower them with speed and really pour it on them with quick breakouts and just quick shots and try and just snipe, basically. Just try and get those good goals. I don't think they're able to get those dirty goals on a team like Washington, but who knows? Like you said, anything could happen. What do you got? How many games does Washington win in Connor?
5.
TCJ.
I'll be a little different. I'll go 6.
Washington in 5 for me. And that is all the time we have tonight, folks. We thank you so much for listening to our Eastern Conference preview. Our Eastern Conference Round 1 preview. We thank you so much. Don't forget, we have our Western Conference preview if you haven't already checked that out. I am Vinny alongside TCJ. Thank you so much for listening. Go like us on Facebook. Thank you. Have a good night.